Are there any laws in space? Have there been any space crimes committed? What will the future of space law even look like?
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
Hi, I'm Carter, and I'm going to do an extremely mediocre job at answering those questions. If Elon Musk wanted to kill Jeff Bezos, could he just invite him to a space party and then... I know this is a question that's on everyone's mind, so I'm going to do my best to answer it. But before we talk about space, we need to talk about land. The US government owns land, and subsequently, US citizens own land. So let's say you buy a house, and you want to build a 500-foot roller coaster in your backyard.
That's it! I know what we're gonna do today!
Shouldn't be a problem, right? It's your land, you own it. Well, not quite. In 1946, 43 years after the first airplane was invented, the United States had to enact some laws about property and the amount of space above that property that you own. This was decided during the United States versus Cosby case, in which a farmer, Thomas Lee Cosby, complained that airplanes were flying too close to his barn and scaring his chickens.
Chicken!
Laws have changed and become more complicated since then, but simply put, you own about 500 feet of airspace above your house. Everything past that is owned by the government.
I think that all government is a waste of taxpayer money.
But then in the 1960s, the human race became a spacefaring species.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And some new laws needed to be put in place. The government's airspace couldn't be endless, and most countries agreed that around 100 miles above Earth is where that country's sovereignty ends. So let's say Elon Musk invited Jeff Bezos on a space date in his brand new SpaceX ship and flew 101 miles above Earth. But Elon Musk poisoned Jeffrey's drink and Jeffrey dies. Elon is technically out of the government's control, right? Well, no.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it.
Spacecrafts are considered an extension of that country's sovereignty. So if Elon killed Jeff on his SpaceX ship, the US could still prosecute. But what if Elon got to Mars first, stepped out of his SpaceX spaceship, and then killed Jeff Bezos? It's Mars. It's free reign, right?
It's free real estate.
Well, that's where general international law comes in. Space law and general international law are pretty similar. They're both comprised of a variety of international agreements, treaties, conventions, and resolutions. One of these international laws is extraterritorial jurisdiction. If you are somewhere in which no country has claim, like some parts of the ocean or maybe Mars, you're still subject to the laws of the country from which you're a citizen. For example, an 18-year-old Brit could crack open a cold one with Elon on the Mars, but an 18-year-old American can't because you have to be 21 to drink in the US. This also applies to the International Space Station. If Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos got together and decided to beat up Vladimir Putin, Russia could prosecute. But if Vladimir Putin sent his bear after Jeffrey, then the US could prosecute. This does beg some interesting questions though, since we haven't really seen any real crimes committed in space. In 2019, NASA astronaut Anne McClain was accused of identity theft and fraud after her estranged spouse claimed she broke into her bank account from a computer on the International Space Station. McClain returned to Earth, and she was never found guilty of any wrongdoings. And in November of 2021, Russia fired a missile at one of their old satellites, sending debris and shrapnel all over space. This made things extremely difficult and dangerous for other countries. In fact, Elon Musk said that his satellites have already been forced to dodge the wreckage. So, did Russia commit a crime? Well, that's just it. Nobody's really sure. I mean, it definitely seems unethical to me. So, what happens when we do decide that somebody has committed a crime in space? Are we going to send the Space Force to arrest them? How would criminal investigations even work in space?
So, you probably have a few questions.
These are just a few questions that have yet to be answered as space travel continues to get more and more popular, especially in the private sector. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Hell yes.
So what do you think? What do you think space will look like in 100 years? When do you think the first crime will actually be committed? And what do you think it'll be?